What's up, everybody? Astrocatical here. Welcome to the Astrocastrophe. Another toxic disaster has happened within the last 12 hours. This time it is in Osceola County of Florida, Kissimmee. I used to live there. We are going to go to that in just a moment, but first, so that's the first thing that caught my attention, was I used to live there. And again, it is another sort of toxic derailment, a toxic crash, fire, etc. That's where, you know, some of the black pilling comes in, and people are beginning to think that this is some sort of conspiracy. I don't know what to say, honestly. I'll give you my opinion in just a minute, but here is the article. This is from Fox 35. Firefighters battling massive raging fire burning several acres near nursery in Kissimmee. Osceola County firefighters are working to protect a nursery in Kissimmee, Florida, after a massive fire nearby broke out early Thursday morning. According to Osceola fire officials, a call came in around 2 a.m. about a fire burning behind Nursery Supplies Incorporated at 2050 Avenue A. Officials said about 2 acres of plastic planters were ablaze before spreading to 5 acres. The nursery itself is not on fire, but it was evacuated because workers were inside. Around 1 p.m., 13 hours after the fire started, firefighters told Fox 35's Matt Trezza that the blaze was under control, but that the fire is still burning. In a statement to Fox 35 News, a company spokesperson for Nursery Supplies said the fire appeared to have started along the back fence of the property. The origin and cause of the fire is being investigated. The safety of our team members and our neighbors in the nearby community are top priority and concern. We are thankful that the team in the plant at the time the fire started was quickly evacuated and there have been no reported injuries. This is Amanda McKenzie, Fox 35, just arrived on scene to this active, out-of-control fire at the Nursery Supplies Incorporated in Kissimmee. Just heard a bang. You can see the flames at least a couple stories high with huge plumes of smoke billowing in the sky. So I kind of want to comment on this because I'm maybe thinking, you know, this is sort of like the balloon thing. And it's sort of like the UFO scare. Now people are deliberately looking for this sort of thing. They're looking for this type of news. Even the media is looking for this type of news. Maybe the reporting on it more often, or the fact that these things sort of happen in a sort of domino effect coordination in one way or another, sort of like a law of attraction thing. I can't speak too greatly on that because I don't really like New Age philosophy to begin with, but I do see certain elements of that playing into it. That's not enough for me to sustainably say that that is the case here. I've lived in Florida for a number of years, and it's never been like a real problem, like these sorts of accidents that at least I have heard of. I have never heard of this sort of thing happening. Even when I was in Kissimmee, there was never any sort of disasters such as this. There's never any places accidentally burning down. And when I moved out of Kissimmee, where I live now, you never hear about this sort of thing in Florida. At least I don't. And I see the Florida news, you know, every time I come on to the internet, it's always telling me what happened in like what happened in Orlando or what happened in Miami. That's the first thing that's being chirped into my ear when I get on the internet. And I never hear that. I hear, you know, usually some Floridian person, man, woman, dying because they did something stupid. That's literally what you are typically introduced to when looking at news articles. You never really hear this sort of thing, you know. Like a Florida man dies installing hurricane shutters, you know. Installing something to save his own life kills him. But that's typically what you read. Or just crazy fucking shit about like alligators or people doing dumbass shit, getting arrested for dumbass shit. You hear the typical Floridian story. You never hear this sort of thing. So that's part of the reason why I'm thinking, no, maybe not. People are just starting to suddenly report about these things, and they've been happening all along. This is a little weird, because we've had derailments, a couple of them within the week, and we had another incident. I believe it was nitrous, and or was it Arizona? No, it was a truck carrying nitrous that I don't know, it capsized or something, and it released, and just, it does seem at this point leaning more towards the black pilled side of things. Yes. I mean, I don't know that, you know, this is, I know from my own experience, this thing doesn't really happen that often in Florida. There's no reason for these fires to happen. It doesn't really get that hot down here. I mean, yes, it's hot, but it's also humid. You know, it's very moist. It's not dry. Things can't really start on fire, which is the thing. Maybe in Texas or something like that, where it's really arid, things can start on fire. But here, it's the humidity. You know, that's what prevents fires from happening. It's very swampy down here. So this is bizarre. Like, these sorts of things don't really happen. Jeepers. That's pretty bad. Wow. And this, of course, is a plastics factory. You know, same thing. Chemical used to make plastic, once it's burnt, creates very nasty things, carcinogenics, I believe. Cancer-causing toxins that people definitely have to look out for. But anyways, the safety of our team members and our neighbors and the nearby community are top priority and concern. We are thankful that the team in the plant at the time the fire started was quickly evacuated, and there have been no reported injuries. The plant has been fully evacuated while fire control activities continue, and team members are being advised not to come to work. We are cooperating fully with the authorities who are on site managing and investigating the situation, and are thankful to them for their quick response. During a press conference on Thursday, Deputy Chief John Haskett with Osceola County Fire said about 75 firefighters within Orange County, Osceola County, and Kissimmee are working to put the fire out, which is expected to take several hours. So we've got several hours of these nasty toxins being pumped up into the air. I don't know. I'm quite a ways from Kissimmee, but still, this is concerning. I don't know, like, this is, it's making me a little depressed, to be honest, because I feel like this is going to continue popping up. It's going to hit everywhere, and I don't know what's doing it, who's doing it, but it seems at this point that if it doesn't continue to happen, then it could have just been this sort of spur freak coincidence that all of these things happened at once. But if it continues to happen, then I'm going to lean towards more, yeah, something is going on here. Maybe there are terrorist cells of some sort in our country. Maybe there is some sort of deep, lo and behold, this cabal really does exist, but I'm not going to go into conspiratorial realm. Maybe there is just jilted workers who've organized and decided that they've been slighted once too many times, and they're getting revenge on these factories or something like that. I mean, that's a possibility too. I don't think that they'd be so coordinated though. But anyways, here's the fire chief on this situation.
We have about 2 acres of pallets that had plastic pots on them. The kind of plastic pot that would come around a potted plant that you would find at the retail outlet. Currently, those are still on fire. We've set up a ladder truck and several ground monitors to attack the fire. We've slowed the forward progress of that fire, but due to the area that it's consuming and the product, It's just given us a lot of challenges. So that's why you'll see the large fire and the column of smoke. We've requested the Orange County hazmat team as well as the Osceola County hazmat team that is operating with them, and they're doing air monitoring downrange from the fire. And currently we've got remote monitoring set up, and we're not getting any signal that would cause us to call for an evacuation. That could change. We've got Osceola County Emergency Management that is here with us, and if there is an evacuation that would be called for, it would be mainly due to the smoke and carbon monoxide off of that fire.
Okay, so he said that there's really no need for like an evacuation order at this point, which I don't understand that. Because this sounds exactly like what happened in East Palestine, and right now, like, people are very angry about that. They're calling out the EPA on it. They had that meeting at the town hall the other day, I believe, where the company responsible for this didn't even show up. People, you know, are definitely not even safe to return home, and here they are. I mean, I know this guy is not from the EPA or anything, but he's saying the same exact thing. Well, there's no reason to, you know, make any sort of evacuation order. And then, you know, next thing you know, we start bringing people back, or we evacuate them for a number of days, and then they return. You know, animals are dying, birds are falling out of trees. There's, you know, we got a lot of fish and turtles and frogs and shit down here. The alligators are dying. I wouldn't be so sure about this. He says that the biggest concern right now is smoke, but I don't think that this is quite as toxic as the situation was with the train. This does seem like an incident where it's like you have to wait and see, but I don't know. I still think that you have to bring people in there to test the air and shit like that. I don't think you should just be so nonchalant like he is about this whole situation. Be like, well, there's no concern for that right now. It's just the smoke that you have to worry about. If they leave it at that, I'm going to say that, like, this is just beyond negligence, you know, just to say that something's safe when it really isn't, when you haven't gone in there and tested it. This is sort of what's concerning me. This is another plastics fire. It's producing that same sort of hazardous effect that the derailment in Ohio caused with the vinyl chloride. I mean, you've got a problem, especially with how much of this has burnt. And this is a factory, so I can't say, but like, more or less, like, so they're going to explain right now what caused this. And he said crews are using water and foam to try and knock out the fire. Chief Haskett added that there was likely a propane tank explosion inside the fire area, but all other tanks are secured, so it was likely a propane tank exploded. So no injuries have been reported, and there have been no evacuation orders, but he said that could change. The cause of the fire has not been determined yet. There are thousands of plastic pots kept on the premises, Chief Haskett said. So, holy shit. Pretty big fire. Oh, yeah, I'm going to say it's not nearly as nasty as the Ohio train derailment, but goddamn. Holy shit. I still think, you know, that's a pretty large area there, and it's all going up into the air, and it's all going to spread out. I mean, look at that cloud, comparably speaking, is basically the same size as the one that you saw in East Palestine. I don't know about this. I think they need to be a little bit more careful with this. And this, like, there's so much negligence going on with these environmental, you know, like the environmentalists come in, and then you get the fire department, and, you know, the people who are, like, you know, supposed to be protecting the citizens, are like, you know, these firefighters are telling you, like, hey, it's not a big deal, don't worry about it. Like, what is going on here? You don't care, and you're trying to convince us not to care. Like, Jesus, have people just become that jaded in this country or what? It's just not making any sense to me. God, water authority stopped by scene, says bumped up water pressure for firefighters to help put out fire. May have helped because smoke plum is more gray than dark black now. So they've been fighting this thing for a long time because it looks like it started during the day and they're having trouble putting it out. I don't typically know how long it takes firefighters to put out a fire. I mean, like if it's a raging forest fire, I understand how it's a fucking problem. But I don't know. It also seems like they are procrastinating things. Like they're trying to let this burn out for as long as it possibly can. I would think that, you know, if this fire started, that they would get there and they'd just fucking knock it out. You know, like if like you had a chief of the fire department who knew exactly what he was doing, it was just like, hey, just take care of this fucking fire, do it like this, it's done and it's out. Like I don't understand why this is taking over 10 hours. It's really bizarre. I don't know anymore. I mean, I'm beginning to feel a little black-pilled on this whole thing, and I don't blame anyone else for getting there yet. Like I've been listening to other people talk about this too. You know, they're just as confused as I am. And, you know, at first we're all kind of like, well, yeah, these things kind of do happen. This coincidences, they're a thing, but like it's getting to the point too where it's like, well, they keep happening, so I don't know anymore. Like how long can we sit there and call this a coincidence when it's literally happening right next door? And that's what's going to happen to the next person, the next commentator, the next your neighbor or your friend or your family member. It's going to happen somewhere in your state. It's going to happen near you, and you're going to start beginning a little freaked out and a little black-pilled on it like I am. Because this happened in Palestine, it happened in Arizona. I think something happened in New Jersey too. I mean, it just keeps going on and on, you know, just sort of like the balloon thing, but the balloon thing could be a little bit more coordinated. It could be, again, this too could be another scare, but this is obviously the type of scare that's going to affect people. East Palestine is a fallout zone right now. I don't recommend that anyone return there, at least not without a goddamn hazmat suit. You know, if you enjoy playing Fallout, enjoy living in it. But God, yeah, get your scrounge up all the bottle caps you have necessary, because it's turning in that direction for East Palestine, to say the least. But damn, this is getting pretty sketched out. Anyways, I plan on doing a little bit more of a video on it later. This was just breaking. I just found out about it now, so just decided to throw that out there. And I will see you in the next one.